What's up, guys? This is Samuel Kwaku. I'm sitting here about to go into Bible study Saturday, 7 a.m. And I thought of something trading wise that I wanted to upload before I forget it. And while it's fresh in my mind, um, in regards to trading, they talk about how many people lose, which is very, very high, like 90%. And I think it's, a lot of the times it's probably because of, you know, not being able to keep our losses small so that we stay in the game. You know, Obviously, you hear some of those things, but it's like, I think that if we understand things conceptually, it could help in the long term, toward our goal. And so, what I realized and thought through, is that in any trade, there are only about six results. Okay. If you really want to break it down, you start at break even as one of your potential outcomes, and then you can go to the left and say small loss, regular loss, or big loss. And then if you go to the right from break even, you got small win, regular win, big win. And I feel like sometimes we feel like the small wins aren't worth it, like shooting for the small wins aren't worth it. So we don't take those base hits, right? We want either a regular win or a big win. And what ends up happening is uh, we our win rate drops because we aren't willing to take a small win. And some people aren't even willing to take a regular win. They want a big win. And sometimes things happen. We shoot for a big win because we just got a loss and try to recover it, right? So let's say you just had a normal loss. That may make you want to aim for a big win to make up for the regular loss, right? Whereas if it was a small loss, we'd be content with a normal win, or maybe even a small win that'll get us back to break even. But man, when we get a big loss, that's the worst case, right? Because then it's almost like we'd almost rather blow the account than have to go on that journey of trying to recover the account. It's all psychological, as we now know, right? If you've been in the game for a while, you realize it is all psychological. So we need to, I think that what would honestly just cut off like half of our losses is realizing that the small losses is how we stay in the game until things start going our way. And so what I'm going to start doing is, any new account I start, I'm actually going to only risk a small amount and get that one RR. So like basically get to one RR, take some profit, move my stop loss to break even, and let it ride. And let it ride longer, because I think that that's how you can get to the normal win and eventually the big win. And I think the thought is too, maybe, maybe there needs to be a buffer before you start aiming for the big wins, so that you have some room to play around with. And so I think that's a good way to think about it. Risk small. Once you get to a small win, take out most of your profit and leave a runner or two. Move your stop loss to break even. Obviously, you're not going to get a normal win or a big win all the time, right? Because everything's probability. There's a probability of price, hitting that first TP and turning around, hitting break even right away. There's times price will go up another RR, and then maybe, I don't know, you draw a trend line or use an EMA for exit, and you get out and get a normal win. And then there's times it's just going to keep going all day long, right? So there's a probability of each of those things happening. So stay in the game by leveraging or sizing very small to give yourself a chance to be in the game, Once you hit 1 RR, take profit, move your stop loss to break even, and then have the balls to hold. Have the balls to hold. And honestly, maybe even not have some of those exit entries, just as a form of exercise. I mean, I will say this, granted, maybe if you have a trailing drawdown account, maybe you should use an EMA or a trend line for your exit. If you have an end of day account, then you can try this other idea. The other idea is honestly to build your discipline and your grit by letting your runners run. Once you put your stop loss to break even on an end of day account, there is no more risk. So why don't you just let the account run every single time for a month and see how far it'll go? I'm excited to try this out, and maybe I'll make another video after I get some results. But this is going to be really good for my psychology, because in my mind, I always want to aim for high RR, right? I want to turn $100 into $600, that sort of thing. But if I can risk $100, take off like $85, $90, move my stop loss to break even, and then just let it run, sometimes, price just keeps going. And I hate not being in those trades when it keeps running. So having the trailer will let me capitalize on those breakouts that keep going, but being able to take profit immediately at 1RR is also great for my psychology, because that's a win. So it's a combination. This idea of trading is a combination of helping you keep a potentially decently high win rate and still being able to capitalize on the breakouts that keep going. So hopefully that idea makes sense to some people, and they're willing to employ it. I'm hoping that this helps me be a bit more profitable and be more disciplined and consistent. Thanks for watching this video. I'm just basically throwing up videos so that I can remember some of the things going through my mind. I know I'm going to be profitable. I'm leaning into God, not on my own understanding. I'm praying I will be successful, and I hope the same for you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in another video.